How many pieces of lines how many pieces are we going to have? Three. Okay. So let's start with the first one. The first one is going to be f of x equals -3. What am I putting in for x? Yep, -4 because that's what's right here. Okay, so we're going to put in -4. So what's my ordered pair that I'm going to start with? So I'm going to go over to -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go down to -3. 1, 2, 3. And now I have to decide, open circle, closed circle. Closed. And why is it closed? Yep, because it has the equal sign underneath it. Okay, what's your slope of this line? It's 0 because remember, it's like the one I gave you yesterday, y equals -3. It's the same thing as f of x equals -3. So now I got to decide my x coordinates. Do I need my x coordinates to be greater than -4 or less than -4? So this is -4, so should I go to the right or to the left? Because these are where this is where they're smaller than -4. So that's the first piece that we drew. Okay, what's my second line? F of x equals x. Well, what am I replacing x with? 2 and -4. It has two things, so I'm going to have 2 points. So the first one I'm going to start with is -4. So if I replace x with -4, I get what? So what is the ordered pair I'm graphing? Remember, this is my input value. That would be my x output value. Okay. Now, is it going to be an open circle or a closed circle? Open. Because there's no equal sign. So I'm going to go over to -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put an open circle. I'm not done because in this line, I only want it between -4 and 2. So now I've got to do it again. So now I'm going to do f of x equals x. But this time, instead of -4, I'm going to put -2. I'm sorry, that is not negative. I'm putting +2. Equals 2. So my ordered pair is... So my starting point was -4. My ending point is 2, 2. Open circle, closed circle. So I'm going to go over to 2. 1, 2. I'm going to go up 2, and it's going to be an open circle, and I'm going to connect those. You can make sure you're right by going up 1 over 1 because your slope was 1. I like those pieces because it tells you where you're starting, where you're ending. So that's a piece. Beginning, it's the middle of the line. And now I have one more line, and what is that line? F of x equals -x plus 6. Or the opposite of x. And what am I going to plug in for this one? 2. And you guys remember the numbers that I'm plugging in are coming from this side. This is the opposite of x plus 6. Well, what is the opposite of 2? -2. And what is -2 plus 6? +4. And my point is going to be I'm going to go over 2, 1, 2. I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Closed circle, open circle. Now, what is my slope? negative 1. Well, if I go down 1 to the right 1, what am I going to get? So I need to go down 1 and then to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. If I would have gone up and to the left, right? Because the opposite would have been up and to the left, I would not have gotten x values, yes.
When the 2 points connect, do we not tell us the slope?
Right, you don't have a slope because they just, I mean, you can, and you can check it. So my slope is 1. You can check, I went up 1 to the right 1, and it matches. But because it's a part of that line, you have a beginning and an end, you really don't need the slope.
How come it's down to the right?
Because your slope is negative 1. So negative 1 over 1 means down 1 to the right 1. And the opposite would be up 1 to the left 1. But if I go left, my values, my x coordinates are going to be less than 2, and I want them to be greater than 2. So now I'm going to graph this. Okay. Now I just want to talk about what my domain is. We're almost done with this problem. So domain is x coordinates. What do you think our x coordinates are? Do we have the restriction? Can they be all real numbers? So that's what you want to start with, is can it be all real numbers? That's the first one you want to always start with. Okay, what do you think?
Yeah.
I can go this way, I can go between here, every x value is covered, right? There's a line that goes this way, there's a line that goes this way. So our domain is all real numbers. I will tell you that most of the time when you do a piecewise function, your domain is probably going to be all real numbers. You can plug anything out. It's your range that's really going to have like a stopping or a starting point. Okay. So now, when you look at your range, those are your y values. I don't see any y values higher than this point right here. Do you see that, what I'm talking about? I see all these pieces, but the highest point on the y-axis I see is this one. So that means I'm not gonna have any y coordinates greater than that number. So what is that number?
4.
So that means our range is going to be f of x such that f of x is it gonna be less than or is it gonna be greater than? And can it be equal to that number?
Yeah.
How do I know it can be equal to that number? This is important.
Because it's a closed circle.
It's a closed circle. And that's our answer. How do you guys feel about that?